By the United States, I'm pleased to announce that India and Pakistan have agreed to a full and immediate ceasefire. The president goes on to say congratulations to both countries on using common sense and great intelligence. So, as I say, that's announcement by President Trump in the last few moments on his Truth Social platform, saying that after a long night of talks mediated by the US, he's saying India and Pakistan have agreed to a full and immediate ceasefire. Now, we should say we haven't had any comment.
Why did India and Pakistan agree to have a ceasefire? What is the reason? What is the real reason behind this fragile speech? And is it a peace or just a pause before the next war? Hello and welcome to the channel. Today we are diving into one of the most critical, complex and sensitive questions in South Asian geopolitics. Why is there a ceasefire between India and Pakistan? Is it trust? Is it fear? Or is it pressure from the global powers? Let us break it down. Make sure you can watch or you are watching till the end, because we will cover the full background, the hidden diplomacy behind this, and what the future might hold for this high stakes rivalry. Now we'd like to go towards the background of this event. This incident took place. To understand the ceasefire, we need to understand the history. India and Pakistan, as we know, have fought 4 major wars in 1947, 1965, 1971, and 1999. Each time the conflict ended in a ceasefire. But it does not mean a peace. Ceasefire does not mean a peace. Especially if we're talking about Kashmir, the line of control, LOC, has seen daily violations, firings, selling, infiltrations, and the loss of lives. If you're going to the past, in February 2021, both countries suddenly announced joint decommitment to the 2003 ceasefire agreement. This raised every eyebrows. What changed? Let's rewind. Let's go back. Let's go to the back. In 2003, ceasefire was a military understanding, but it is unwritten, but respected for a time. It brought some calm after years of bloodshed in Kashmir, but violations kept increasing. According to reports, there were over 5,000 ceasefire violations in 2020 alone. So why would both nations suddenly want peace in 2021? Why they wanted the peace in 2021? Now I am going to penetrate the reason behind this. Let us look at the real reason behind this ceasefire. What was the real reason behind the ceasefire of 2021? First of all, that was the domestic priorities. If you're talking about both India and Pakistan were facing internal challenges in 2021. India was battling that time COVID-19. That was a pandemic and focusing on internal reforms. In the other side, Pakistan too was facing economic collapse, political instability, and global scrutiny on terrorism. Neither side could afford a full-scale war. That was the reason behind the ceasefire in 2021. Another reason was the diplomatic pressure. That is where there was the global pressures, global powers, especially if we're talking about the United States, wanted stability in the region. And why they wanted stability at that time? Because two major regions. There were two major regions at that time. One, the US was preparing to exit Afghanistan and did not want India-Pakistan tensions complicating the things. Second one was the international organizations were growing tired of the constant violations and civilian deaths. Third one was the military fatigue. India and Pakistan soldiers were dying. Civilians were losing their lives. Constant firing along the LOC had to study again. It only added to the loss of the fatigue. The military leadership from both sides recognized this. They led to they came to know about this. There was the backchannels, fourth reason, the backchannel talks. Yes, there is the secret most people do not know. Even when the politicians shout on TV about the war, there are secret talks happening through the backchannels, foreign diplomats, or even the intelligence agency. They are talking to control the war. If we're talking about 2021, UAE reportedly played a key role in blocking the ceasefire behind the scenes. What was the reason? 5. Optics and the image. As we know that Pakistan was on the grey list of the Financial Action Task Force. India was presenting itself as a responsible power, so both the countries did not want the war. They were approaching for the ceasefire. So did the ceasefire change everything? The question is that the one thing will come into mind: there was ceasefire. Did it change everything? What is the answer? Not really. While the number of violations dropped, trust is still absent. There are still occasional, as Scum says, infiltrations attempts have not fully stopped from the Pakistan side. Cross-border drone activity is still reported. But there is a less selling, fewer civilians deaths, and that is still a big win. That is why both the countries announced the ceasefire. But can we call it a peace? Not at all. The ceasefire can't be called as a peace. It is temporarily peace, but it is not peace. It is tactical pause used by both the sides to regroup and focus on the internal challenges. Some call it a cooling off period. Some of the people used to say it is a cooling off period, but in reality, it is a wait and watch the game. What will happen in the future? Now the question is that who benefits from the ceasefire? There is a question in every mind comes out. The who is being benefited with the ceasefire? Let us ask the most important questions right now. Who benefits from the ceasefire? India benefits because it can focus on building infrastructure in border areas without inconstant selling. It also avoids a war during time of economic rebuilding and diplomatic ambitions. If we're talking about the benefits from the Pakistan sides, Pakistan benefits because its army shapes face internally and avoids a war it cannot afford. Pakistan cannot afford the long-time war because Pakistan is already facing the problem. It also helps improve its global image and possibly gain some economic aid or loans from the outside. The people benefit the most. Who is the most benefited if the ceasefire? People benefit the most. Farmers can walk near the border. Children can go to school without fear of mortar shells. Families are also running for every day to work. The ceasefire saves lives, and that is the reason enough to know why the ceasefire is important for both the countries, Pakistan and India. To mind, is it a permanent solution? Is the ceasefire the permanent solution? Now I will discuss and elaborate the particular topic. Now let us talk about a big picture. Is the ceasefire permanent? Not likely. I would like to say boldly that the ceasefire is not a permanent solution. Until the core issues are addressed, the ceasefire is not permanent. Kashmir, terrorism, trust deficit, the ceasefire will remain fragile. It is still on the stake. It can break any day. The ceasefire can break any day. All it takes is one terror attack, one cross-border raid, one political provocations. The ceasefire is a band-aid. It is not a cure. It is a band-aid. Ceasefire is only a band-aid. It is not a cure. And both the governments know this. This is not the solution. This is not the outcome. They may not trust each other, but they know what is not the solution. Both the countries know India does not trust on Pakistan and simultaneously Pakistan does not trust on India. So the ceasefire is not the final solutions. So what is the future? What is the future? We need to talk about the future. So what happens the next? Basically, here are the three possibilities as a fail. The first scenario is that the ceasefire holds, both the sides manage tensions, diplomacy continues vitally, trade and people-to-people contact may resume. What is the second scenario? The ceasefire breaks, a terror attack leads to retaliations, the borders heats up again. What is the third scenario? Bold moves are made. Political leaders say the both sides takes initiatives to settle the issues. What are the permanent issues? Perhaps through a third party. But both the countries are not ready for third party. If we're talking about India, does not ready for that. But that requires courage, political and military. And as of now, we do not see the signs of that. We are not taking this a sign from both the countries. Still, the current ceasefire, despite its flaws, the question comes into mind, in everyone's mind, the audience's mind. So why is there a ceasefire between India and Pakistan? Why did this ceasefire have happened? Because the cost of conflict is too high. Because the world is watching, and because the deep down, even bitter rivals know when it is time to pause. Will it last? Only time will tell, will it last? But every day, the guns stay silent, hope stays alive. Thank you for watching this video. If you found this video insightful, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. It is my humble request, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. Let us know in the comments, do you think the ceasefire will survive the next 5 years? I'm just waiting for your comments. Until next time, stay informed, stay aware. Till then, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.